Hello, everyone, and welcome to Lipedema Wellness Conversations with Gail. That's me and friends. And today, my friend is the amazing, wonderful, warm, and inviting Leslyn Keith. Oh my gosh, Leslyn, hi, how are you?
Hi, Gail.
Now, amazingly enough, I act like I know you forever and ever and ever, and I've only known you for a few years.
Isn't that
And
amazing?
it
I
is.
it seems like it's like we've been lifelong friends.
Yeah, it's like and of course we were able to get together this weekend for
Mhm.
uh, uh, two very fast, fabulous days, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. But other than that, it's like we met in February,
Boston,
yeah, in
yes.
Boston for the parent technique
Mhm.
workshop clinicians training. And but yeah, it feels like we've known each other for a very long time, and it's been wonderful getting to meet you in person.
You
And
too.
I see here that we have some viewers, and if you're here watching us live, please make sure that you throw in the comments where you're from and your name so that we can reach out to you. And I do want to say hi, Catherine. It's so good to see you. Because we always have to say hi to Catherine. Um, because we're fortunate to be able to work together because of Catherine.
Yes.
So
And
it's one
that
of the
I would like to say that is one of Catherine's superpowers is that she knows how to bring people together and
yes.
and bring out their unique skills for the good of the community. So, and that's what brought us together.
I know it is. And one of her superpower is empowering
Yes.
people, empowering those who have some word to say, some gift to give, and which we all do. So I agree. She does have a superpower. So I know
Mhm.
she's watching us. anything else? Anything else you want to do to pat her? You can.
And I love the people that are posting, Karen in Michigan and Amy in England and Sandra, don't know where you are, Sandra, and Jean from Colorado. Thanks for posting, letting us know you're here.
Yes, and I've noticed right now I see that Tiffany just came in. I can see people from Facebook and I can see people from YouTube. But if you're on Instagram or if you are on LinkedIn, those are another two of our platforms that we stream to. Please make sure that you post something so that we know that where we're reaching you from, which platform we're
Mhm.
reaching you from. So we're
Mhm.
going to continue. So Jackie's here from Florida, Sherry's here from Florida, Shelly Reed's from Hilton Head. Shelly Reindels from Hilton Head, Tiffany's from Colorado. We have people from all over looks like from the northern hemisphere right now. So,
Yeah, Sherry in Florida. And a lot of these people, I mean, I know them from emailing them, from doing virtual meetings with them. And so it's nice to have you also here. Thanks for coming.
yeah. So, Leslyn, um, because we spent so much time talking this weekend, but we really don't know, we really didn't talk about ourselves. We were talking about everything, right? Can you give us a little bit of a background of how you started getting involved with the lymphatic system?
Oh, okay, sure. You know, I got my master's degree in occupational therapy. They have this pathway that doesn't matter what your bachelor is in, you can go get a master's, and then you could be an occupational therapist. But occupational therapists are usually, a Jill or Jack of all trades. They do a little bit of everything, stroke rehab and spinal cord injury rehab, and work with Parkinson's or whatever. So it's a little of everything. And I felt like, gosh, I want to be an expert in something. I wanted to really focus on something, and I thought that was going to be aquatic therapy, doing rehab in the pool. And so I specifically set up a internship in Phoenix. Everybody has a pool there. So I was at this hospital and I was going to learn how to do aquatic therapy with an occupational therapist and do that in the pool. But she had just got certified in lymphedema therapy, and the program had a wait list. I mean, she was seeing all these lymphedema patients because there was such a huge need. And so she said, we don't have time to get in the pool. We're going to have to do this instead. And that was my first exposure to seeing lymphedema therapy and what was involved in it. Part of it was massage, and I already had, loved doing massage. So that was already something I was interested in. And then I was seeing these patients that they would start out, really swollen, and then they would go through treatment and they would be less swollen. I mean, it was such a concrete result. And I tend to be very left-brained, and I want concrete results. I don't want, kind of seems like it might be better. No, I want to see measurable, differences. And that was really achieved with lymphedema therapy. So I kind of dropped everything and started pursuing getting certified in lymphatic therapies. And that was actually my first exposure, albeit just a small amount, to lipedema, because they really focused mostly on lymphedema. But it was kind of assumed that lymphedema therapists would also help in the treatment with lipedema because it was a lot of the same things that we would do. So I would have to say that it wasn't until and this was back in 2000, and when I hooked up with Catherine at the NIH symposium on lymphatics in 2015, I think I always get that year mixed up, but it was about in 2015, that's when I really started focusing on lipedema specifically. It wasn't so much part of, I would see a patient from time to time, but it wasn't really a big part of my practice until I got with Catherine. Again, an example of how she brings people together and directs your energies where they're needed. And so we started really working together then, and the rest is history.
It sure is. And so then you moved into lipedema work with Catherine. Mm-hmm. You became the president of the board of the Lipedema Project.
Right.
You're the director of research.
Right.
And Siobhan, and you've been instrumental with Lipedema Simplified as well. Of course, you're part of both of Lipedema Simplified and Lipedema Project. And you've been instrumental in making sure that we have, here at Lipedema Simplified, we have the people that we need. For example, did you bring in Siobhan Huggins?
I think we all did. We all did. We found that she was trying to learn more about lipedema because she was suspecting that was a diagnosis that she had. And I think that both you and I were familiar with her already from the low carb community. We had heard her speak. We knew of her work, and both of us were a little bit awestruck when we saw that she wanted to be a member of our community. So that has been just huge to have her join with us. Her particularly her research mind and knowing how to go through the literature and to pull things out and to put things together the right way and design research projects. I mean, it's absolutely exceptional. And she's able to use her own body as an example, to help guide her. It's been absolutely fabulous working with her.
So one of the things that you and she recently did, I don't know how to do that. She and you and she, you and her. Anyway,
what's the proper grammar? Yes,
like my grandchild calls me grammar. Well, look at it, it's grammar teen, because I'm always trying to work the grammar. No, because I'm grandma. Anyway, but so one of the things that recently has happened through both Lipedema Project and Lipedema Simplified, in the wisdom circles, we did a research project. And I want to say, or is that right? Is that the right terms? Research project?
Yes, it's a project specifically because it's what is coming known as citizen science. People are doing experiments on themselves. They are not part of a clinical trial or a study or anything like that, but they're experimenting on themselves. I mean, as we tend to do as humans, except in this case, they're recording all of, they're taking data, they're recording all this information. So, so that maybe it helps you understand what's happening in your own body because you've written things down and maybe you've forgotten some associations. And so you go back and look through your notes, things make sense. And it also may help someone else because you wrote it down. And that's what we've been doing with exogenous ketones.
Right. And so I was a participant in the project, and I which I loved doing, and I got all excited about different things that I that happened to me. Some people might not be excited about the results that I got, but I was very excited about the results I got because I got hungry, which is exciting to me.
Yeah. For someone who hasn't had an appetite for 20 years, it was exciting to feel hunger. Yes.
It was. I can't remember feeling hungry before in my adult life. So it was, actually longer than 20 years. It was, can we say 50? Probably not.
We can say
probably
that.
not 50, but I'd say for 4 decades, being a compulsive dieter. I don't know if compulsive is the right word, but a continuous off and on, losing and gaining and suppressing my hunger and ignoring my body signals and all those things, white knuckling it through all those things. Pretty traumatic dieter for over 40 years. Over 50, because since I was 11. I don't have an appetite. Food doesn't mean food, big deal, right? Just eat it, kind of thing. Good food, bad food, didn't matter. And I gained my appetite and my joy of food back. Okay, that blew my mind. I'm excited. I love it.
Yes.
But from exogenous ketones, it was like that's the only change I made, and I was.
We should probably tell people if they don't know what are exogenous ketones.
Oh, that's true. So I know very little. Yeah, good point. I know very little. I know very little about exogenous ketones, but I know that they're out there because my body will make its own ketones.
Yes.
And these ketones that we were taking were bioidenticals, so that our bodies accepted them and absorbed them. We were going to see if we raise the ketones in the blood, what were the effects going to be? And I found, so I don't know what exogenous ketones are. You can tell us.
Well, exogenous means just outside of the body. So essentially, we were given this in liquid form, ketones, which are your body produces. That would be the endogenous ketones. So your body produces them in response to eating dietary fat. And so it makes its own. So ketones are not something that's found in nature, basically. You find fat in nature, but you don't find ketones because it's something that your body makes. And so these are, produced outside the body, and they're in a drink, and you would dilute it with water and drink a certain amount daily. And interestingly, it was not a requirement of the study to measure the level of ketones in your blood, although several people had a capacity to measure their ketones, and so they did that. But what we were testing was just if everybody had a certain amount of exogenous ketones, would it have an impact on lipedema symptoms? And those of people who did measure their blood ketone levels, that was also very interesting because it behaved differently from what we've seen so far with lipedema. That people with lipedema don't necessarily, their levels don't increase. Their levels of ketones don't increase in response to drinking them as someone without lipedema, they typically would. So another, it was something that we weren't expecting to find out, and we found out.
Right.
They seem to have a wonderful impact on pain levels,
Mm-hmm.
on energy levels,
Mm-hmm.
and something weren't planning to measure, but several people had the capacity to measure it. It had an impact on sleep.
Mm-hmm.
On several people. People were getting longer sleep, deeper sleep, and because they had Aura rings and stuff like that, devices that could measure their sleep. And so we were finding, wow, this is pretty
It
exceptional.
it is, and I have to say that not all exogenous ketones are the same.
Right.
There's different types of exogenous ketones,
Mm-hmm.
but it was really exciting. And so this last weekend, I had the opportunity when I found out that Siobhan was going to present this study at
Yes.
the Citizen Science Collaborative Science Conference
Yes.
in Vegas. My husband and I said, "Hey, let's go do this." So through sleet and snow and
Yes.
wind
And
and
plane cancellations.
plane cancellations, we took a round trip 20-hour car ride to go to this conference over this 2 days, and it was fabulous.
Mhm.
And the other thing that was wonderful is, Leslyn, you were there. So I got to
Mhm.
hug you and squeeze you and pet you and eat with you and talk to you and
And you
watch.
got to meet my Bill.
I got to meet your Bill, and you got to meet my Guy.
Uh-huh.
Um, and we were able to talk to people who are in the low carb world and
Well, we
network.
collaborated with American Ketone
Yeah,
and Heidi from American Ketone, who supplied all the product for our participants, the people who decided to do this self-experimentation. American Ketone supplied all of the product for it. We couldn't have done this citizen science project without their support. So we got to meet Heidi in person. We had only met her on Zoom before, and so this was kind of fun to meet her in person.
yeah, it was. And Siobhan presented the
Yes.
project,
Yes.
and oh my gosh, she rocked it. She knocked it out of the park. Um, the crazy thing is all the speakers. I should say all the speakers. Majority of the speakers got 14 minutes,
Mm-hmm.
and 14 minutes isn't very long.
Yes.
It isn't
Yes.
very long at all. I mean, it
Yes.
started and it stopped. And so she was able to get the information out there. She was able to distinguish actually 6 different um, individual case
Like
results.
case studies. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Right.
Personal work. And of course, this is all done through reporting. So each participant reported and answered questions. But she was so funny because boy, once she started, she had the audience in their hands because they're like, wow, what a
Yes.
great study. Here's the
Yes.
thing that was so exciting about that study or that
Project.
project. Thank
Yes.
you. That project was when she applied to do her presentation. The project hadn't started yet.
Yes, when we submitted for her to present, this is true science. We are not engaging in something, and then if the results don't come out the way we don't like, we're not going to hide the results, right? So true science is you present whatever happens. You do an experiment, and whatever the results are, you present it. So when we applied to have Siobhan speak at the conference, we hadn't even started, as you said, the project. So we didn't know we thought maybe people were not going to have any response at all, but we are going to present whatever happens.
Right. And I think that's what makes it so exciting. It wasn't like, oh cool, look, we got this cool thing that happened. We were like,
Mhm.
okay, this is what we had.
Uh-huh.
This is what we saw. Right.
Uh-huh.
And
Uh-huh.
at the end, she says, so there's a lot to continue to think about here,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yes.
Because the results were varied.
Well, yeah, so many unexpected things happened. People were, such good citizen scientists. They were taking notes, taking data on things that we hadn't even considered. I mean, we had a survey about depression, about cognition, about pain. We had them measure their body parts. I mean, we were covered a lot of bases, and people did even more than that, so
Right.
and so we got even more information than we expected, and then it made us also think about, well, these then lead to more questions. Maybe we should now have a project that goes in this direction. It just it answered some questions, but then it gave us some more questions that we
Right.
wanted to look into further.
Right. And that's always exciting. And speaking about these types of things and the collaboration that we're doing, I do want to bring up that it says we have right here from Ruth Goff.
Uh-huh.
Will
Yes.
Siobhan's presentation be
Yes.
available for replay, or will she present it to us?
Yes.
Right? And the answer is yes.
The answer is yes.
The answer is yes.
There is going to, the whole conference was filmed. And so people who registered for the conference, I can't remember if it was live streaming or what, but there is, all of the presentations were filmed. But Siobhan is also going to, just for our community, she'll be presenting on it, I'm sure, more.
Right. Right. And
Yes.
and it will be wonderful to hear that. And before we go on, there was a question from Brahim, and Brahim says, "So where is the problem?" And I think that this was about when I got hungry.
Oh.
Like, what, living my life for 50 years without an appetite or without getting hungry, where was the problem? And for somebody who feels hunger, they know how to respond. But for someone who doesn't feel hunger, you're constantly looking for food to satisfy yourself, but you're not hungry.
You're not
You're
hungry, but you're also not satisfied.
but also not satisfied,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
Just eating. Like I just eat. I ate when I wasn't hungry.
Mhm.
In fact, I always ate when I wasn't hungry because
Because you never were hungry. Yeah.
I never was hungry. And so then I wouldn't know how to stop because I also was never satisfied.
Mhm.
I didn't enjoy food.
Mhm.
I just ate, and I'd eat to make myself sick. I
Mhm.
didn't know how to stop. And so once the once I caught that feeling and I learned what I needed,
Mhm.
which was also part of the project,
Yes.
was meeting with a nutritionist.
Right.
I realized I needed fat in my system.
Mhm.
That's what my body was. That's what my brain, because it was
And so,
like
and the ketones were giving you a type of fat. Yeah.
the ketones did sparked something for me.
Mhm. Mhm.
And then I ended up going and saying, okay, but then I was eating everything and I wasn't getting satisfied, but I was hungry. And then
Uh-huh.
we discovered that, oh, get some fat in your system. And then I could go, oh, that feels good. And now it's only been a few weeks, right? And I'm still practicing that.
Mhm.
Oh, I felt hunger. Let's eat. Oh, that feels good. But
Uh-huh.
so really, it just helped me understand where I need to eat, but
Mhm.
not being hungry.
Mhm.
For I have 50 years of really very poor um, relationship with food.
Yeah, because you had
Because
no feedback. There was no
I had
feedback.
exactly, and so my relationship with food was eat it, don't enjoy it, just keep eating it. Pretty soon you got to stop. I mean, it was just all like food was boring, and yet it was a necessity, and I didn't know how to do it. And
Mhm.
just by feeling hunger, I've been able to learn and respond in 3 weeks. So for
Mhm.
me, it was very exciting,
Yeah.
not even knowing that I could ever feel hunger. So it was a
Mhm.
great. So yeah, it. I didn't know that I was a problem. Oh, now I gotta hide this. Sorry. Hi, Marilee.
Hi,
Um,
Marilyn.
so, and there's a question, and I don't know if we can answer that. Is the not hungry feeling
I
common
would
with
like to
lipedema?
answer that. I think we need to put it out to the community and ask if there's others that are like you, Gail. I mean, you may not be unusual. I think that
Right,
there's a certain amount of that person who has been a lifelong dieter, and usually it's denial and restriction. And so your body coped with that trauma of all that denial and restriction to, I'm going to cut off this feeling. This is too miserable to feel this hunger, and it like cut that feeling off. And I'm just wondering if this is a common experience for people with lipedema, and
yeah,
people want
Jack,
to post on that. Jackie says that's the same thing with her. So it may very well be that'd be an interesting thing to put, that question out to people in general and see, how
right,
many are experiencing that.
right. And when I went ketogenic, people are like, "Oh, you won't feel hungry," and I'm like,
I already don't. Yeah, yeah,
right? And it'll stop your cravings, and I'm like, okay. Now cravings, I know what cravings are.
yeah,
Cravings are not hunger. That's not what I was feeling.
yeah.
And I still dealt with cravings depending on how I ate keto.
Hmm.
If I had cream, like I tell everybody, once the cream went in my coffee, the cravings never stopped of everything, not just cream, right?
Uh-huh.
So
Uh-huh.
I have found trigger foods, but hunger is a totally different animal for
Yeah,
me. So
yeah,
anyway,
yeah.
um, so we've talked a lot about me, and this is about you, Leslie.
But this is so interesting.
It is. It is. And another thing about that we're doing at Lipedema Simplified that's interesting because you're involved. You and Siobhan are very very involved. Is we are having our heart to heart. I'm going to go ahead and put our heart to heart up. Our heart to heart is April 12,
12
13,
to
and
14.
14.
Yes.
I am going to in the comments. I am going to drop. I am going to drop
The link to learn
the
more.
link.
So
Thank
this
you.
particular heart to heart is really focusing on nutrition, but it's taking a holistic view of nutrition. So we're not just taking the physical side of it. Here's what to eat, and here's the physical response you'll get, because eating it's social, it's spiritual, it's emotional. Everybody has experienced that, and so we do have, in thinking about that, we have speakers that are going to be looking at all those different aspects of, I've just was communicating with a woman with lipedema who said, I really want to do more animal sourced nutrition, but my son is a vegetarian. And how do I handle that? You're talking about your family, that social component of your nutrition. How do you deal with that? Well, we're going to have a speaker who's going to talk about that. Dr. Georgia Eid is going to be there, and she specifically uses diet to help manage mental health, to help people with, as schizophrenia and or maybe just mild anxiety. I mean, they're in everything in between. She talks about how she just got her book out, of course, that I need to read, but change your diet, change your mind. So basically, even if you think, well, my mental health is pretty good, but everybody has some mental health needs. You will be stunned when you read that book, how beneficial, how much impact that what you eat has
Yes,
on your mental health.
yes,
Um,
I've started. I have it in audiobook, and I've started listening to it. I can't wait for her to come to our heart to heart and be part of it.
yeah.
And another thing about the heart to heart, this last weekend you made some connections with some
Some
amazing speakers.
Some amazing speakers, right, right. So, we saw them speak and we go, wait, we have to have them come and talk to our group as well. So, Dr. Peter Ballerstedt, who is, he's a ruminologist, I guess. He studies cattle and other ruminants. And he talks about how animal source nutrition, specifically beef and other meats, are healthy for you. They're good for you, but they're also good for the planet. And so he's going to be talking about that again, because that could be a social aspect of it,
Right.
of eating and being in, if you're eating and eating meat and the other people that you're socializing with are vegan, then how do we handle that? And so he talks about how it's good for the environment and it's good for you. We also hooked up with, and you can speak more to this, I think you talked to him personally, was Dr. Nadir Ali, who is a cardiologist who uses ketogenic eating.
Right, he does. And he okay, so I've been following him for a very, 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 very long time. Not that long, but like 7
Mhm.
years.
Mhm.
Um, and my husband has had open heart surgery in the last year. And so it was really exciting for the two of us to meet him. But he also talks about, when you're looking at studies and things like that, who paid for it?
Yes.
You know, who paid for it? So who wants their twist on this,
Yes.
right? He talked about that several times. He talks about cholesterol. He talks about heart health, but he also talks about the nutrition for the whole body. Um, and he's fabulous. And I was so excited when I saw you guys talking to him. I've got pictures of me and my husband with him, but we weren't like talking quite yet. We were just fangirling, fanboying and fangirling,
Uh-huh.
which it was easy enough to do. But to have him say yes, and I want our audience to know, when you walk up to somebody at a conference and you talk to them about coming and talking at your conference, you have to tell them why it's important for them to be there,
Right.
right?
Right.
So Leslyn and Siobhan were able to tell these two amazing scientists and doctors why it would be important for them. They had to compel them, and they said, "This is what our heart to heart event is. Can
Mhm.
you come?" Right? And they could see what it is, and can they come? And they were, you think about it, guys, less than a month away. Now you would think,
Yes.
yeah, I gotta check my
Yeah.
calendar and
No, it did
prioritize
not take much convincing. We said,
right?
we said what it was about, and they said, okay, give me the dates. And actually, Peter Ballerstedt, he can't be there live. He's going to record his talk, but he has said, I will meet with your group, whoever comes to this event, after the conference, and we'll have a Q&A and a discussion after the event. I just can't be
Wow.
there that weekend, but he's willing to record a talk and give it to us for the weekend. It didn't take any convincing. That's the dates. Okay, let's work it out. How can we figure it out? And so both of them were like that it's, and of course I want to speak for your group.
Yes. Yes. Isn't that wonderful?
Yes.
The low carb and the keto community and these citizen scientists, um, they are anxious. They are excited. I shouldn't say anxious. They're eager to get the word out and to come and speak with us.
Mhm.
And we don't pay speakers. The speakers who were there
Yeah.
at
Yeah.
the citizen science, they show up on their own dime, right?
Mhm.
Because they get paid by knowing that what they're doing is right. So
Right.
it's their passion, and so
Right.
they're wonderful.
Mhm.
It's wonderful to have them there. So I want to make sure everybody knows I dropped the link to our heart to heart in the comments. So make sure you grab that.
And Tamara was asking if it would be recorded, if you have to miss some of it, or maybe you're just busy the entire weekend. So yes, it will be recorded. That is, you need to upgrade to, I think it's called premium.
Premium, yeah.
That you upgrade to that, and then you are given access to those recordings. And this is good in a couple of different ways. If you have to miss it, or if you need to listen to it again, because sometimes, repetition is what really helps us. So I highly recommend not only being at the event, but to upgrade to premium, because you will then have access to all the recording. And
Right.
Tamara also asks, is it mostly about keto or other things too? This is going to be all about nutrition. And it's going to be mostly talking about restricting your carbohydrate intake, but there's quite a spectrum of restricting carbohydrates. And so, but it's all about nutrition and looking at the physical, emotional, mental, spiritual, all the aspects that come around eating and nutrition.
Right. And I do want to say a little bit about her comment that says, I tried keto for a long time and I can't lose weight on it. My family does, though. And that is we do hear that from some of our members, that they don't lose weight. So what I've done for myself and what others do, they realize that with everything that we do, the keto has helped with, well, it lowered my blood pressure, it lowered my blood glucose, it lowered my insulin, it lowered my pain, it increased my mobility, I have better skin, I lowered my inflammation, my face isn't swollen anymore, my eyes are brighter, my hair is better. I can go through and list the stuff that I've gained and lost.
Mm-hmm.
And have I lost weight? I lost quite a bit, and then I went into a stall and I've stalled. But one of the things it does for me is it has increased my health profile.
Yes.
And so I'm not on blood pressure meds, and I'm not on glucose meds. So right there, it's taken 2 meds out of my profile, right?
Right.
And so what has keto done but now I have to realize keto isn't the same for every person.
Mm-hmm.
And so when we say it doesn't work for me, sometimes we have to take a look at what does work mean, because it might have made some change. So that's what the citizen science is all about. Dig in deep, keep track of it, see what has happened. I can tell you right now, the one thing that happened, I was keto for 10 days, and I did a cheat day, because that's how diets used to always work for me. You can diet this, you have a cheat day, then you can diet some more, right? And that was a very common practice for me.
Right.
One cheat day every 10 days, one cheat day once a month, whatever. And my first cheat day, it was a cheat meal. And I went out for Mongolian barbecue.
Yeah, well, don't say the names of the foods, because sometimes that's a trigger for people.
That's triggering.
You were off plan.
So I went off plan, and we were out to dinner. I'd driven there in my car. My husband had driven there in his truck, and we met there. I was unable to drive home.
Oh,
my
wow.
brain fog was so heavy. I laid my head down. I had to go back the next day to get my car.
Yes.
Because my brain fog. It was just like I couldn't put 2 words together.
Yes. Yes.
Right. And I'm thinking.
And some people, it's that the response is that quick, so that you have a very obvious cause and effect. Some people, they don't feel it till hours later or until the next day, and then it's not as easy to put the association with what you've eaten. But we are finding that if you use multiple ways of measuring your success, besides just what it says on the scale, quite often you're seeing that that has an impact. The other thing is that a lot of people are finding it's difficult to do it on your own and figure out even though a certain food is keto, it is low carb, it doesn't have a lot of carbohydrates in it, it still may be inflammatory for you personally. And if you are
Right.
still eating foods that are inflammatory to you, it could be causing lots of water retention. That's what we do when we're inflamed. We retain water, and then nothing happens on the scale, and we don't feel so good. So sometimes it really takes the help of a coach, which that's one thing that we do at Lipedema Simplified, is that we have the lovely Carrie Reedy, who will be presenting at the conference. And she's a nutritionist in Australia. She coaches people online and helps them figure out, okay, you're doing good. You're keeping the carbs low, but something is still inflammatory for you. Something is still keeping your pain there. Something is still keeping you retaining water. Something is still making it difficult for the scale to go down. So let's figure out what those things are. And it really helps to have a coach and or a community and other people you can just bounce ideas off of, that you don't have to explain about that I have lipedema. Well, what's that? So you don't have to explain that I'm trying keto. Well, what's that? I mean, if you have your tribe, your community that you can just ask questions of and offer solutions to other people in turn without having to explain yourself, that's huge.
Yeah. And there's no keto police.
Yeah.
I have
Yeah.
to tell you, there's no
Right.
keto police.
Right.
We're all there going, oh, wow, you get to eat that? I don't get to eat that.
Right. That was non-inflammatory for you. Fabulous.
I'm so happy for you, kind of
Yes.
thing. So,
Yes.
but it's also like, I hear this is what I find. And sometimes someone will say, oh, have you considered that you're having a nightshade reaction? I mean, something like that,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And it's like, oh my gosh, I didn't know there was such a thing as a nightshade,
Mhm.
right? And there's just little things because we are all sharing our experience.
Yes.
And so one of the things that we do leading from here where we are today, like, this very moment today on Tuesday evening, until
Mhm.
until our 3-day virtual event to conference, when it starts, is we have webinars. We have free webinars for you
Yes.
to come to. And our next webinar, believe it or not, is tomorrow.
Yes.
And it is called Beyond Balance: Mastering Career with Wellness with lipedema and lymphedema. It's tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern. And I will drop, here's another link. I will drop that link in for you because of, here, let me find it real quick over here.
Oh, and the two speakers that are going to be there for that free webinar is Lisa Dware and Catherine Seo. We're going to be speaking
Right.
about that. And
And
it's going to be a fabulous webinar.
now here's the thing about this webinar. Let's say you go, oh my gosh, tomorrow it's at 7 p.m. Eastern. I have a parent-teacher conference, right? Got to go to that, right? Because you do. Or maybe you're going, no, I have a date. I'm going to, no, that's bedtime, whatever it is. It's by middle of the night. Register for this. You will get the free replay.
Yes.
So on all of our free webinars, if you register, you get the free replay. So you can watch it later. And if you're if you're able to watch it live, or you have to leave, or you're at work, so you're only able to listen, you can't really watch it, you'll get that free replay. So as long as you register, you get it. And this is really exciting because this is going to be Lisa Dury's. Is this her first webinar with us? It's her webinar.
Gosh, and I feel like I've been working with Lisa for a long time too, but and maybe, I don't know. Yeah.
Anyway, Lisa and Catherine together, that's a powerhouse. They call
Yes.
each other tsunamis and fire hoses.
Be prepared.
Be prepared. So Jackie wants to know how to sign up for premium. Jackie, if you're already signed up for the event, it could be called VIP or
Yeah,
premium.
I think it's changed to it says premium. I don't think we have VIP anymore, but it's
Okay,
essentially the same thing. Is that you get some perks.
right,
One of which is to have all those replays for that's for the event. You don't need any kind of premium or anything like that for our free webinars, of course. But for our event that's happening in April, in order to get the replays and some of the other really exciting perks, you need to have premium. And so you would go onto the link for the VIP, excuse me, for the event, and then you can see what you get for the premium and what
yes,
the cost is.
right.
I think you would know, Jackie, if you've already signed up for it, but check that out. Go follow the link for the event, and you can find out more about premium.
And if you need any, I'm going to pop in an email into the comments. It's support@lipedema-simplified.org. Lipedema-simplified. Okay. Takes me a little bit because I'm putting it in there as a support@lipedema-simplified.org. If you click on that, and send an email, say I have signed up for the event already, but now I want to go premium. Isla will reach back to you and she'll make sure that you get registered for that because she is she keeps track of all that for us. And
Yes.
anytime you want to upgrade, you just support at lipedema-simplified.org.
Can I say something about Isla?
You can.
Because she is an amazing person on our team. And for this is going to date me, I'm sure. But do you guys remember that TV show? And it was also a film, MASH. And
Yes.
and one of the characters on MASH was Radar O'Reilly. He knew what you needed before you even asked. Okay. And this is
Yes.
Isla to a T. She you ask her, Isla, could you please? Oh, already did it. Well, I think I need, well, yes, taken care of. She knows. She knows. So she already knows that you need to have help on premium. So she's
Yeah.
ready for you if you contact her.
And so we have people that are going to be speakers, right? Like on here we have Anne Marie. I want to say D'Angelo. Let me see. I can find her name. D'Angelo. Anne Marie D'Angelo. She's on here from New Jersey, and I got a message from Isla the other day. Anne Marie D'Angelo. Is she a heart guide? And I said, well, yes. And she goes, oh, never mind. She's a speaker. I got her. I was like,
She already knows. She already knows.
She already
Yes.
knows what's going on.
Yep, yep.
Because Anne Marie is going to be she's going to be a heart guide, and a heart guide is somebody who comes and kind of warms and holds you close during the event. You say something, they get in there and they make sure that you're heard, they make sure that you're seen, they make sure you feel like you belong in there. Our heart guides are just that. They guide with their heart, and they're in our events helping our audience be more involved and feel more hugged. They're these big gentle hands that just hold you and keep you warm, right? And which makes our event the heart to heart event, because
Yes.
our hearts, your hearts, all of our hearts are together.
Yes.
And so she's also, Anne Marie's also going to be
A
on the
speaker.
patient panel.
Yep.
So we are going to have what we call a patient panel of 4, and the wonderful Leslyn Keith is going to interview, visit with us, have a conversation. It's not going to be as crazy as this. Here I am with Leslyn, and at that point, when I'm with Leslyn, I'm going to have to actually let her be in charge. But because I'm on the patient panel, because I too
Yes.
am a lipedema
Yes.
patient,
Yes.
and that's the wonderful thing about Lipedema Simplified is we are patient. I want to say patient driven, but the patient community
Yes.
driven.
Yes.
So it's not just all the patients, it's also their caregivers. It's all of our input together. I mean, Catherine's a lipedema patient. Now, I can say that Leslyn's not a lipedema patient, but she's a clinician and a researcher, right? Siobhan,
Well, and
researcher and lipedema patient.
that's what this event is. It's bringing all these people together to have a conversation. I mean, we have breakouts where you'll go into a room if you wish to. You go into a virtual room and you're with a small group, and that's your time for your voice to be heard. And you can ask questions of the speakers. You're constantly on the chat. You can ask questions and make comments. So this event is not just you sitting in front of your computer. You're getting up with Akanksha and doing some yoga stuff and some breathing. In past events, Gail has led us in some dancing and singing. So it's full participation, or at whatever level you wish to. You have your camera on or your camera off. You can put stuff in the chat, or you don't have to say anything. You have the opportunity to have your voice heard, and it's a conversation. It's not just sitting there for someone speaking at you.
Right. And how valuable that is, because we are a population that try so hard. This was commented on Catherine and Lisa's special podcast that they're doing on Mondays right now. We are a population who want to be smaller, who want to be less obtrusive. But we want to be heard.
Mm-hmm.
We want to be seen. But yet we spend our lives trying to be invisible, but we don't want to be.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And so we have this conundrum where we feel like we take up too much space in the world, but we want to be seen,
Right.
heard,
Mm-hmm.
we want to belong. And so we have this turmoil within us. And so this is a place to get seen and heard, and to see and hear others.
Right.
Because that's our gift. They give us the gift of being seen and heard. We give them the gift of being seen and heard. And so that's the coming together of us.
Mm-hmm.
And
I'd like to also, I think about, how, to make any change in your life takes the support of your community, whatever that community is. And you think about how you enjoy giving and helping someone and being their support. And it makes you feel good to do that. Consider that when you have someone who wants to help you, let them. We tend to want to no, I'm fine. I can do everything myself. It makes that other person feel good. And so think of it as that's your gift to them, is that you're letting them help you, giving them that opportunity to be the giver. It works both ways. It makes you feel good to give but also to receive. So sometimes be on the reception end.
It is. And do you know what I love seeing? And it's taken me a long time to learn to ask for help.
Mm-hmm.
It's taken me a long time to accept help.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the things that I've started trying to focus on when someone tries to help me is the gift, and is their joy, to find their joy in their eyes, in their words, in their love.
Mm-hmm.
And now I realize this is how they love.
Mm-hmm.
We show our love in a certain way. Well, I want that person's love, because it's a two-way street, right? And so I've been finding that if I can find joy, I can find their joy, I recognize their joy, then I can be grateful, I can express gratitude for their gift. And it's not like I'm a taker.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a receiver.
Mm-hmm.
and that's
Yes.
a totally
Yes.
different way. And
Yes.
speaking of that, I think it gives the person who's giving you that gift hope that
Hmm.
their gift was well accepted.
Yes.
Like
Yes.
Ruth says, there can be no giving if there are no receivers. And
Yes.
yes, and our community has given our community an amazing gift. It's called Emmy's Box of Hope. And
Yes.
I'm going to put the link in the chat, and I'm going to show you what it looks like in underneath here as soon as I find it. You have to understand, I got this list of scrolly stuff over here. So it looks like scrolly stuff. So
Yeah. That's a technical term.
yeah, Emmy's Box of Hope is a gift from the Lipedema Simplified community, the Wisdom Circles, to our community. So it's from the community to the community. And what it is it's a web page, website that you can go to. And this is for you. This is for everybody who's listening right now. If you look down at our lower right hand corner, it says Learn, Connect, Belong. Inside of Emmy's Box of Hope are 3 tabs: Learn, Connect, Belong.
Mm-hmm.
And you can go down a rabbit hole in there, but it's a gift to you. And it was created by Julie Stewart, Deborah Jersick, Judy Green, Jerry Hamill. I always forget one. Doesn't matter who I start with. I always forget one. Do you know
Some
Judy?
yes, some amazing women. They put in a lot
I
of
always forget
time
one.
to
They
put this
did.
together. Yes, they
And
really, and they were reaching out to the community to see, what do you want, what do you need, and they tried to make sure that those things were in this Emmy's Box of Hope. It's different resources and links and things like that, all free stuff to help you on your journey as you're learning to manage and live well with lipedema.
yeah,
Um,
and
yeah.
when you go into Learn, there are postcards in the Learn button. So what you do is you click on it, and Emmy's a wonderful little flying pig. Everybody's told Emmy you can't fly. Emmy says, watch this, right?
Uh-huh.
I fly. That's who we are, right?
Uh-huh.
We've been restricted all our lives. Watch this. We're gonna fly. So
Yes.
Emmy is that little pig. Esperanza Milagros, hope and joy, hope and miracles, and
Mhm.
that's who we are. Because anything's possible with lipedema. We're gonna do this, and we're gonna do it together. So
Mhm.
Emmy's Box of Hope is your gift from your community,
Mhm.
and so get in there. It'll say, give me my free resources right this very minute. Click on that button, and
Or
uh,
something in facsimile thereof. Yes.
yeah, I'm paraphrasing.
Yes.
Or extra phrasing, or whatever it's called. But click on that, register for it, and you will get that resource. And enjoy it, love it, share it. You can share this link with whoever you want. You can, let your docs have it. Let your practitioners have it, right?
Uh-huh.
Because
And,
seriously, let your family members have
I
it.
will say that my participation in this was a very small participation, but I do have instructions on how to juggle in there, and
And
there's videos and handouts and stuff.
well, why do I need to know how to juggle? What does juggling do for me, Leslyn?
It spreads joy.
It spreads
and
joy.
and actually it's juggling with scarves, and so it's something you can just go to the fabric store and get some really lightweight diaphanous type material, and you too can be a juggler, because they throw up and they float down very slowly. So
Well, no, it's
there's instructions on how to do that in
and
the Emmy's Box of Hope.
we know that movement and joy moves lymph.
Yes.
That's how lymph
Yes.
moves, right?
Mhm.
So,
Yes.
in a sneaky little way, you're going to have fun.
Yes.
You're going to do this juggling, and you're going to go, woohoo, Leslyn taught me how to juggle. And yes,
And so
yes, Blanche Pepitone was the other lady.
Yes, Blanche
Thank
was
you.
part of that. And also Blanche is going to be a speaker at our Heart to Heart event in April 12 to 14.
Yeah.
And just one other thing about laughter, because there is something called laughter yoga that was part of our previous events. Laughter engages those abdominal trunk muscles. It causes you to breathe, all of which impact your lymphatic flow. So
Absolutely.
go out there and find your joy and your laughter, and it's going to be good for your lymphatics.
So we're going to wrap it up here, Leslyn, because we've gone my full hour.
I know, and it's so easy to do that. And there's probably a million other things that we could talk about, and we'll have to just do this again.
We'll have to do it again. Okay, so I'll see you next week. No, I'm just kidding. You got other things to do. However, before I end, every single time before I end my broadcast, I ask my guest, if there's one message that you want echoed around the world, what would that be? And that's what I'd like to ask you.
Mm-hmm. Well, my big thing is lymphatics. That is what I've spent the last 25 years studying. And it is so important for health and happiness and well-being that if you can learn more and do more for your lymphatics, they will do more for you. And so come to our events and learn more about how you can help your lymphatics function the best, because they will help you function the best.
Oh, I can't top that, Leslyn. So take good care of your lymphatics. Have a wonderful night. We'll see you at the free webinar tomorrow. Leslyn will see you on Thursday at her research lives. We'll see you on Friday. Oh my gosh, there's something going on every day. But check
every day.
You never get. You can't. We're like a bad penny. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.